You are greatly welcome to Future Setters Institute Youth Development Show, a program that has been on for grossly about 8 months now. And the program is focused on helping young individuals all over the world to learn and also build themselves in one way or the other. And Future Setters Institute has observed that a lot of young people struggle with so many things in leadership, in personal development, and in work ethics. So they need to be in an environment where they are loved, where they can express their gifts, where they can become the best version of themselves. And that's why we decided, oh, let's do this. Let's do this to help every young mind out there. Let's be consistent and let's have this show every Sunday by 3 p.m. West African time. And so we are here again to guide you on a very great topic. Surely it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be awesome. So you will just stay with us and you have a wonderful experience with us today. And we have a very great man in our midst today, in the person of M. Arun. M. Arun, who is a very great HR expert. Not just that, he is the co-founder of Ideasync Technology, Vice President Ideasync Technology, and also a CRHO, and a very great man at that. He's filled with so much insight, so much experience, and trust me, you stay with us, you will learn from him because he's going to be sharing a whole lot of information, a whole lot of things that would help you. We are on LinkedIn for a core reason. A lot of people know that they join LinkedIn because they feel it's all about the jobs. So how do I get the job if I don't have a CV? How do I get the job if I don't know what the resume was? A resume? Don't know what a resume is. How do I get the job if I don't really prepare ahead? I don't really, put things in order, have my credentials set up. You understand? These are things that we have to prepare ahead for. So that's why we decided, oh, let's do this. Let's interact on steps to prepare for job interview, not just steps to prepare for that job interview, but how can I land the job? How can I get that job on my mind? Can I do that? Yes, we decided to invite a very great an expert in that aspect, and you listen to him where he's going to share insightful tips on this great topic. Once more, you are greatly welcome, M. Arun. M. Arun, you are greatly welcome.
Thank you, Victor from Future Setters for having me today. It's a pleasure to be part of your program, and I'm very glad to support you in the noble cause that you have ventured yourself in. Um, this particular topic that when you spoke to me earlier, I didn't, or I couldn't rather say no to it because I understand the pain of not getting into the job that I prefer to be in, or at least get a job to make sure that I'm able to live a stable and steady life, right? So I have been in that situation myself and I know the pain of it. So I am just sharing my thoughts, my experiences, my learnings, and what it takes for anyone to get onto their dream job at ease. So we can look on certain aspects, we can discuss certain aspects in detail. And at the same time, we have less than an hour today. I'm sure I should be able to give more tips to the young crowd here and help them get their land in their dream job.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, M. Arun. So, you know, we all need that job of our dreams, and not just the job of our dreams. We all need a well-paying job. Now, not just a well-paying job. We need a job that values us, that makes us work, and we see the results in the work we are doing. So you could be in a place, you are working in a place, but it seems like you are putting so much energy in that place, but you are not valued. You are not valued. That is a very big problem too. So it's not just all about saying, oh, I'm accepting a very big salary. What does it entail? Another thing. So today, like we've said, you are going to learn a lot, you are going to improve, you are going to grow, and you are going to thrive. So the first question I have for today says, how can you describe an ideal interview? How can you describe
Okay.
an ideal interview?
So there are a couple of things that you need to prepare yourself before getting onto the interview prospect. Number one, getting to understand what the role involves you to do, which in simple terms we call it the job description. In other terms, it is called what are you expected to deliver from this job. So, as a candidate, the first and foremost thing you need to do is go through the job description, understand how your skills, your knowledge, and how your expertise matches with the ask from the particular job description. Once you feel yes, your skills, knowledge, and your expertise matches, and it is above 70 or 75% match, the next thing you do is try to prepare a resume that resonates your skills, your knowledge, and expertise in line with the particular job description. Some people might ask, Arun, can I have more than one resume? Yes, you can definitely have more than one resume, but the only catch here is you cannot give a false information on your resume. The information that you are displaying in your resume should be 100% correct. And at the same time, you are only formatting the resume in such a way that your skills, experience, and knowledge matches to whatever the job asks for, right? That is number one. Once you have done that, the second ideal thing is for you to understand what would be the culture of the organization and what are the growth prospects that the organization is able to provide. How would you be able to do it? You go to various social media platforms and you analyze about the organization. For example, LinkedIn has a rating system. Glassdoor, which has a similar social media app, has a rating system for organizations and companies. So you can go to those platforms and ideally check what are the score pattern that the organization has obtained in various factors. Once you get to understand and once you feel, yes, this is the kind of organization that I would like to work with, that is when you start to actually prepare for the interview. When I say preparing for the interview, it involves basically two or three steps. Number one, the basic question that is being asked in every interview is, can you tell me about yourself? Right? That being the first question, we all try to talk about ourselves, we try to talk about our education, we try to talk about some experience that we have had or some projects that we have done or how we have done certain things. Definitely suggest is follow SET pattern, which in simple terms it is set, SENT. If someone asks me, Arun, can you tell me about yourself? This is how I would respond. I would start by saying, thank you for giving me this opportunity to meet you today. And I understand that this role involves me to work under pressure, which I have displayed during my internship program period. In one of the organizations that I've earlier worked, the role was so pressurizing that I had to make my work life balance more effective. There are two things that I did, and those were one, two, and three, and you list it and you go ahead. This is displaying your skill set. That is number one. Number two, you talk about your expertise. Every human has a unique expertise that they carry. So you need to showcase your expertise while explaining who you are. And that gives a great platform for the interviewer to understand that you are the person that they are looking in forward to, right? And the third one is your thoughts. End of the day, if you have a good thought, a positive thought, you are definitely expected to share it during the interview. While talking about yourself, you can also talk about how certain unethical activities in the previous organization did not help you to sustain there. And what were your thoughts about that? And what are your thoughts about growing with the organization? What are your thoughts about working in a team, making a win-win situation, right? So these three things creates a very good impact during your first 3 to 5 minute conversation with the interviewer, and you've already done few research about the organization and you have a well prepared resume. I think with this conversation and your resume, your interview is going to go to the next level.
Awesome. Awesome. I must say I've learned a lot, and I also believe the audience watching as well. I've also learned something great from what you said, and I will just say some few things just based on your points which you listed out. The first one says, "Don't give false information. Don't give false information." So you've not worked in a place before. Why should you say you've worked there? Because the company needs you to have 7 years of experience, you now decide to write 7 years of experience. That is already a turn off. You understand? But there are certain things that you can do that may not be false information. I'll give some instances. Let's say the job is saying it needs someone that can work under pressure, someone that is accountable, someone that is financially prudent. You observe that these are some of the roles, some of the things that they are looking for. And there's something called ATS. ATS is looking for these valuable points. ATS is looking for these valuable points. So when you are preparing your resume, it's ideal you rate yourself using these points that they've already listed. If you know truly that you have these qualities, it's ideal that when you are introducing yourself, you can say, yes, Victor Tasoye, a financially prudent individual that's accountable and can work under pressure. That's already showing that yes, this person knows what he's doing because he knows what the company needs at that moment. So these are things that we should also consider. But when it comes to false information, you are trying to forge your results. That's already something a bad thing. You didn't go to the school to study this. Don't go there and write, I studied this. You understand? They're asking you for a particular your experience, what you do, and all that, what you've been doing so far. You don't have experience in that particular area. Don't pretend. Just state your point based on what you know, and that can also help as well too. And yes, like you said, to research. You don't know about the company before. I've been in some instances before where okay, I get a job, okay, I apply for a job and I'm called for an interview. The first thing I should do is to go and research, go to Google and check out what this company is all about. What do they want? Just like you said too, what do they want from me? Understand? Even when you observe that, when you observe that this thing is not really in line with your objective, these things, you may have applied for it out of desperation. It happens a lot. Out of desperation, you applied for a job because you don't have a job. You just applied. But when you observe the things involved, the commitments involved, then you have to research and rethink if you will do it or not. That is a very valuable point. So you have to ensure, think about it. Is this still going to work for me or not? Don't just go and accept it. Then it now becomes something else for you. No, a job is supposed to build you. A job is supposed to build you, and you are also helping the organization to thrive. If this job does not build me, then there's already a problem, a very big problem. So I also, when you talk about teamwork as well too, yes, how many of us are willing to work with the team? How many of us feel, a lot of people, at least some places are watching, a lot of us feel that we are just, they employed you to complete, you have something that you are going to add to what the organization is doing. That means that idea you have, you are going to add it. You are going to, you are just trying to make it more interesting because that role is something that they cannot do without it. They need someone that can fit into that place. That means the organization needs you, so you can't work on your own. Another thing is you are going to be giving feedbacks to someone. That means you have to take note that you are under someone, you are not on your own. Definitely anything you are doing, you have to always give feedback. If you are the type that wants to do things on your own, there's already a very big problem as well too. So for me, my own definition of an ideal interview is one that I applied for a job, and I know deep down that I'm qualified for the job. I'm qualified for the job, and These are the skills, the skills they are looking for. You have those great skills. You have those great skills, and you can express those skills. You can express those skills, not just saying, I have the skills. Yeah, they want to see not just paper. People see paper, they see the paper. But then when you go write the exam, when you write the exam, you are not able to prove the paper. You are not able to prove it on paper that, yes, I'm good for it. You see, these are some things. Some persons, some interviews, they write examinations. They ask you to do practicals to show that you truly know what you're doing. So you don't expect to write so much and you can't prove it. So that's an ideal interview. You are going there, you are showing yourself that this is who I am, and it's clear. It is clear that this is who I am, and you show that you have experience. And another thing, an ideal interview is one that you can go there with a form of confidence. With a form of confidence, you are going to get a job. Sure, you are going for a job interview. Does not mean you should look down on yourself, that you feel that the boss is too high, that is so high that you cannot even negotiate. You cannot negotiate. You are looking down when you are supposed to look at the person. You are looking at your document when you are supposed to look at the person, negotiate with the person. What if the person uses you? The person uses you and makes you look like you are not really fit for that particular thing. So an ideal interview is one that the person that needs the job can also negotiate the price and show that his quality, his experience, he has ideas, he is filled with so much insight and all that. So are you able to convince the person that you are fit for the job? They ask you a question, you are like I don't think I don't. Before you know, you have lost it. You have lost it all. So an ideal interview is one that you are going there, you know what you have, you know what you carry, and you are ready to deliver on the said things that you said, the things you said you have, the things you wrote down in your CV. You are there to say, yes, I am ready to deliver on it. That is one great thing that we should hold on to. So moving on, I have another great question. And this great question says, what are some vital things? What are some vital things that should be in a curriculum vitae?
Okay.
What are some vital things that needs to be in a person's CV?
Okay. So
Yeah.
the first thing is always the headline of the curriculum vitae. So when you say curriculum vitae, it's more of what is your expertise. That is something that the headline should resonate. So when you're applying for a particular job, so you understand what that role requires you to display. So it can be a summary from that, and making sure that you are in line and you're able to display that particular skill or character, or you've already displayed that earlier. That should be readily available, the heading or the summary of the profile, right? So when I say M Arun, so who is M Arun? What does he vouch for? What are the beliefs? Why does he want to join my company, and what is he going to add value? So these are the four things that would be as part of my summary. So not big, not small. It is a three sentence or a four sentence summary talking about who I am. Right. That is something that every ideal resume should, a curriculum writer should carry. The second one is a headline. So when I say headline, it's more about a verb that describes who you are, right? So we're talking about myself. I like coaching people. I like building leaders. I like helping students getting career, or finding suitable career. So my ideal headline would be in line with these factors. And the third thing would be your education. In case if you are a fresher and you do not have any work experience, the third thing would be your education, your certifications that you've done, and the skills according to the education, right? So you evaluate it on a scale of 1 to 5, and you say how skillful you are on certain areas by rating yourself as 3 or 4 or 5. It is also okay to mark yourself 1 or 2 as your skill level, and people would be definitely impressed because they understand that you are trying to give them the right rating and not trying to show all your skills are at 3, 4, or 5, right? And the fourth one, if you are experienced, your experience will come first and then the education. uh, in experience, start off with your current organization and go to your past organizations. Talk in detail as to what your contributions are. You do not have to list down all the things that you're doing in the organization. So there are 5 or 6 major activities that you do as part of your regular work. Highlight them, showcase what is the kind of impact you have created. If you say, I have done this, also say what was the impact you have created. For example, being a HR, for me, recruitment is one of the key measurable areas. I would say I was able to recruit 200 candidates in 1 month. But what was the cost involved? What was the time given to me? Was it 30 days where I took 60 days, or was it 90 days and it just only took 60 days? Talk about those things, all right? It is not just talking about I supported my team on recruitment. It's adding more information to it. It could be simple sentence stating, from the 90 days given to me, I was able to recruit 200 candidates, suitable candidates in less than 60 days, which made a huge impact to the business, right? So this is what your current role is impacting in your organization, and you as an individual is creating an impact. Talk about those things as part of your experience. The next section is more about your skills. Look at the job role, you know what your skills are, map them and say on a scale of 1 to 5 how skillful you are. Doesn't matter if it is going to be in 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, but make sure you're able to map it and showcase how your skills are aligning with this particular job. From your school, college, to about your current organization, if there are any special recognitions, any certificates, or any awards that were given to you, feel free to highlight that in your curriculum vitae. This would help the person to understand it is not only on studies that you are focusing, it is also on other areas. This showcases that you focus on your work, at the same time, you're also able to multitask on another activity. There are people who are good in their studies, at the same time they focus on sports or music or another extracurricular activity. If there are any awards, if there are any certificates that you have received on those lines, do not hesitate to mention them, because that creates more positive value to your profile. And finally, your contact information, your direct number along with your email ID. Generally in our country, people do add their gender, do add their date of birth, they had their marital status, they had their visa details, their passport details, and so on. But in generally, I would not advise people to use that information on their resume, because it could be more of a personal identification number, and that should not trigger any unwanted challenges after that. For some profiles, yes, adding a photograph would add value. And for some profiles, photograph does not add value, or it is primarily not required. So look at the role that you're applying for and decide whether a recent passport photograph or a recent photograph of yours would add value to your profile while sharing your profile with the hiring team.
ATS visible. For you to make your ATS visible, you have to indicate that you are male in that aspect. So, like I said, there are some jobs that you need to indicate that you are a male, while there are some jobs that you need to indicate that you are female. But there are some jobs that don't even want to know if you are male or female. So that's a situation where you can indicate your gender. You understand? Then there are some jobs as well too, where they will say they are looking for a person with second class upper, while there are some jobs that will say they are looking for persons with second class lower, while there are some jobs that will say they are looking for a person with third class, or no, I don't think they will look for third class anyway, but people with first class. So you can indicate if your degree is within that range, you can indicate that you have a first class. But in a situation where you don't meet that that criteria, that does not mean you should not apply for the job. You can omit your results in that aspect. So for example, the job is saying they need male. That is already something that you know cannot work for you. You can leave that out. Or or in such a situation, you can leave your gender out. You can leave your gender out and just apply. So in a situation where they are requesting for second class upper and you know you don't have second class upper, you can leave your results out in that situation. But if you know you have second class upper, you can apply and indicate that second class upper because that is your strength. That's what makes you different and unique among the people. Another situation is a situation where they request for someone that resides in Nigeria. Let's say, for example, Nigeria, and you know deep down that you are not in Nigeria. You are not in Nigeria. It's best you leave that location blank. You don't need to indicate your location in that aspect, but you can still apply. You can still apply, but you don't need to indicate your location in that aspect. But when you reside in Nigeria, that is a strength. You can indicate that you are Nigerian. You understand? You are Nigerian. And another thing is when it comes to location, you don't need to write your full location. Nobody needs to know your full location. Just give them at least something that can indicate where the area you are located. So if they say you are in Benin, for example, in Nigeria, you can indicate maybe Upper Mission in Benin or maybe this place in Benin. You don't need to tell them that this is the full place, your full house address. Don't need to tell them your uh, full house address in your CV. Then another thing I will also say is when it comes to your email, I always tell people about this aspect, very crucial aspect. When it comes to your email, when it comes to your email, don't start writing, let's say for example, let's use Victor. You now have an email like Victor Newlove at gmail.com. Victor Newlove at gmail.com, and you're applying for a job. Not really ideal. Have a professional email that connects your first name and your last name together. Have a professional email that connects your first name and your last name together. So if you see something like Victor Otasoye at gmail.com, that sounds more professional and talks about my name. But a situation where you see Victor New Love, no, that's not really ideal. I told someone about it and she had to change it, and that gave her what she wanted. So
Mm.
it could be one of the limitations as well. So for me, one thing I will tell people is know the need of the organization. That's like Aaron said, know the description, the job description of that organization. What do they need? Ehen. If you know what they need, you can target it with your CV. So you don't have only one CV, just like Aaron also said, you don't just have one CV. You have multiple CVs because different organizations need different things from you. You understand? So that is a very valid point that you need to take note of. And also try to get some certifications. Try to get some certifications as well too. It's very much important because when they go through your CV and they see some of the certifications you have, it can give you an edge compared to other persons that don't even have any certification as well too. So try to get a certification. Then another thing, you observe some persons when they are writing referee, they need referee for a job. They will write referee on approval. No, no, it's not good. Referee should not be on approval. The referee, you should have a referee. You're applying for a job, you should have a referee that is that is already existing in your CV. So that person is his contact should be there, the person's email should be there, the person's phone number should be there. So that in case the organization wants to confirm who you truly are, they need someone they want to reach out to know more about that, about you. Definitely, they can go online, they can search, they can reach out to the referee, and they can get as much information about you as possible. Make yourself visible online. Another advice I have for you: make yourself visible online, because now you are saying that, for example, you are applying for a role in the oil and gas sector, and they go through your LinkedIn profile, they don't see anything related to oil and gas. That's a turn off. That's a very big turn off. But in a situation where you say you are a teacher and they go through your LinkedIn profile, they see some things you do online that relates to the job you are even applying for. Then they say, yes, this person is fit for it. So if you are doing something, also try to make your social media reflect it, so that when they go search for you, they can see that, yes, this person is really a professional, is really into that particular thing that he's talking about. Very much important. Very much important. And another thing I would add is a situation where you are applying for a job and the job is international or a remote job. Your phone number should reflect your country code. Your phone number should reflect your country code. So for Nigeria, it should be +234. You don't just have to write 070 like that. No, let it reflect your country code, because not everyone can easily reach out to you unless they know where you are coming from, the country that you are from. So it matters a lot as well too. So yes, I'm sure you are really learning a lot. If you are learning a lot, just comment in the chat box there. I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot. Yes, just comment in the chat box. I believe you are following as well too. And also, if you have any question, feel free to ask the questions in the chat box. I will also bring them up and respond to these great questions as well too. So a very great question is here again, which says, what is the difference between a curriculum vitae and a cover letter? What do you think is the difference between a CV and a cover letter?
Okay. CV is a detailed document about who you are, what are the experiences that you carry, what is your educational background, have you done any research work during your education or during your work, what are the certifications you have got, and what are the articles in case if you have written it for any of the magazines and so on and so forth. A covering letter is a simple document which talks about why are you interested in applying for this particular position. So your covering letter will talk about what are your achievements, what is it you can contribute to the success of the organization, and why do you feel you are an ideal match for the particular role. The cover letter is a simple two paragraph or a three paragraph document, whereas a curriculum vitae starts from your education, your research work, your work experience, the journals that you've written, the articles that you've written, the various certifications that you've undergone, and so on.
Okay, it seems like your audio is not stable. It seems like your
Is it
audio,
clear
your
now?
audio. Yes, yes, it is clear now. It's clear now. Yes.
Okay.
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 Awesome. Awesome. That's great. That's great. Just like that's a very great one. Very great one, which has to say, your CV contains a lot about you, every necessary information, but your cover letter is just like some few paragraphs that summarizes everything, that makes it very clear, and also talks about the role you're applying for. It's almost like a letter. I'll call it a letter that you use to make the person interested in what you are doing. And left to me is something I've gotten to understand so far. You're applying for a job, you don't know how to send an email. It's a turn off. It's a very big turn off. We have to know how to send emails and let the emails reflect in the right box. There's a way you send an email to reflect in spam, and there's a way you send an email, it will reflect in promotion. There's a way you send an email, it will reflect in inbox. So it is that box, that real box, that inbox that your email is supposed to reflect in. So what can you do for your email to reflect in the inbox? These are questions we ask ourselves. And to me, when you have your CV, you attach your cover letter, have your CV. You can add it as can attach it as a file to your email. Then after attaching your CV as a file to the email, you will now have to send a message, almost like you are chatting a message. There's a part, I think it's known as the description aspect on email, where you will post that cover letter that says, oh, I'm applying for this role because is this, that. That is something you will do. That cover letter is almost like a message, but what will actually make your email not to reflect in the spam box is the tag, the title, the job title. You have to reflect your job title. Application for the job of this. Application for the job of that. That is what brings your email out. Even some job applications, you see them, they'll tell you, ensure you write the job title so that it will reflect in our inbox. But when you decide to just send the cover letter and the CV without the job title, it goes immediately to the spam box. And when you decide to add too many photographs, too many pictures to your email, it reflects in promotion as well too. So we have to ensure that we know what we are doing. We prepare very well we know what we are doing. That's very much important. Don't just send your email in the wrong manner, and ensure you attach your file. Don't just send a page. Don't let it look like a chat or chatting someone. No, let it look professional and let it look appealing and interesting to the person that is going to view your CV, because it is that message, that cover letter, that makes the person open up your document as well too. And take note, it's possible that the person it may not be a person that is reviewing your document. It could be a computer. Computer is just reviewing over 5,000 applications. So what do you have in your document that can make such a computer sieve your own out and accept it and say, yes, you are the one fit for the job? It is the keywords you place into that document that reflects how professional and how true to yourself you are as well too. So let's ensure that we prepare a very good cover letter that is professional enough. This would help us to get that job of our dreams. So let's take note of that. And there are certain things that we all do. There are certain things that we do. To me, I've seen it firsthand. In a situation, someone is going to apply for a job, and the person is pressing his phone, he's chatting. Because he's not been attended to, he's chatting, cross his legs, he's just laughing, interacting with his fellow persons, people that are still seeking for the job, interacting with them negative, like just talking to them and laughing. But you went there for a purpose. So the way you react with the gate man, possibly you don't even know if the person is a gate man. You just see someone walk into the organization and you see someone like the gate man, just read the person anyhow, just walk into the organization. You don't respond well, you don't do things well. Or in a situation where you don't even know someone before, you just went into the office and you met someone and you don't know who the person is. You just feel this person is naughty. and you just start talking anyhow towards the person, that the person has not responded to me, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. And then you observe that that person could actually be one of the key staffs in that organization. So we have to know about verbal and non-verbal etiquette, verbal and non-verbal etiquette. And this brings me to this question, which says, what are some verbal and non-verbal etiquettes or non-verbal communication etiquettes to take note of before an interview? What are some of these? I believe from your wealth of experience, you may have encountered some of these persons that feel they are entitled.
Right. Um, See, talking about verbal and non-verbal
Yes,
etiquettes during the interview or while attending the interview, number one would be to attend the interview on time. So, if your interview is at scheduled at 8 o'clock, you are expected to be there at least by 7:40 or 7:45. Prepare yourself, make yourself comfortable, and then uh, be prepared for the interview. That is number one. That is primarily required. Number two is your dress. You have to dress professionally. So when I say dress professionally, it is not uh, always wearing a blazer or a suit. You
sorry.
have to be well dressed, right? A proper shirt, a pant with socks and a shoe, right? Ensure that you always carry a pen with you. That denotes a very positive sign. If someone requires you to write, or if there is a place where you'll have to sign, instead of asking someone for a pen, if you're carrying a pen, that itself will start creating a positive atmosphere. Number three, be enthusiastic and engaged, right? So during the conversation, there could be certain points which are against your thought process. It is okay to voice out your thought process, but keep yourself engaged in the conversation and rather do not feel that the thoughts are not aligning. If in case the thoughts are aligning, then it is very good for you to start the conversation and do not get more deeper into the conversation unless until it is something to do with your work. It could be a political scenario, it could be about a movie, it could be about two countries, right? So do not get into the deeper conversation on those aspects. Acknowledge them, be enthusiastic, and make yourself that you are engaged in the conversation, but do not get deeper into it. Number four, listen actively. It's very important. Like how we are saying verbal and non-verbal etiquettes, the interviewer will also be observing you, right? So you also need to observe, look at the body language of the interviewer, look at the body language of the employees in the organization, look at the body language of the person sitting in the reception who is um, giving you the schedule as to when you have to meet the hiring manager or someone else, right? Observe those things clearly and closely. And during the interview, listen carefully, understand the question as to what exactly are they asking for, and then process it and then give your response. If your interviewer is asking a question, do not interrupt them. Allow them to finish the question. In the meantime, you process the response, and once they have given you the complete question, then start to respond. That's very important. Most of the time, when we know the question or when we know the answer for the question, we tend to interrupt and then start sharing our responses. Never do that. And finally, I would say be honest and authentic. If there's a question that you know really well, be authentic in terms of telling how well you managed it. If there's a question that's a little challenging for you to respond, be honest enough to tell the person that I have worked on this, but unfortunately, I'm not able to recollect it. But if given an opportunity, I would be able to recall it over a period of time and then explain it to you in detail. Considering the time, I would request you to go to the next question, right? You can make the request more pleasant and more engaging so that the other person definitely understands that you are a kind of person who is willing to say that you do not know when you do not know. That's very important in an organization, right? That is how we start to train people on the areas that they do not know. That is when you start getting trained, coached, or mentored. It is absolutely fine to say that you do not know, but you should be able to showcase your other skills to give you a better weightage during the interview.
Awesome, awesome. These are very valuable points. I've been in situations, or I've seen a lot of persons, just like you talked about the time aspect. Yeah, you tell them the time is by 8 a.m., but then they come by 9 o'clock, or they come by 8:30. Well, one reason called African time, we all feel that no one sticks to time. We all feel that no one sticks to time, and that's just a fact over here. So most times we may lose opportunities because we feel, you know, it's a lie, it's fake. So most times we have to cultivate this whole attitude, this attitude of saying, the time is by 8, so I should have prepared every necessary thing before 8. Take note of that. For you watching, for everyone watching, take note of sticking to time. And sticking to time, not just for the interview, take note of this. Sticking to time, not just for the interview. Even when you get the job, you have to also stick to time. So if you are applying for a job, or you are in a situation where you applied for a job and you got there for the interview, they now begin to tell you that the time for you to be there has to be 6:15 in the morning, early in the morning, and you know that time doesn't favor you at the beginning. You just have to let go of the job if you know you cannot handle it at the beginning. You don't just have to accept it. Yeah, accept it. It's going to be tedious, because for 5 straight days, you have to wake up even before 6:15. That's just like you're waking up by 4:30, trying to rush for a job because you have to be there by 6:15. So take note of that as well. So time is a very big currency. It is that moment you negotiate, you know, if it fits you. If it doesn't fit you, you let go of it. Then be composed. Be composed. It's almost like an interaction. It's not an interrogation, it's an interaction. So an interaction is, you are meeting the person for the first time, you are free, you are connecting, not connecting in an unserious manner, but connecting in a professional manner. So there are certain things you should not say. There are certain things you should not say, which can actually push you back. No, there are certain things you should say. There are certain conditions that should be met at that moment. If those things are not met, then you just have to let go of it. Don't just accept something that is going to give you tough time. So I'll share a story. This happened last week. So a friend of mine went for an interview, teaching role, and then what happened? They told her the time she's going to be resuming work every day. It's going to be by 7:15 a.m. That is one problem. Now, normally for jobs, you are going to be paid at the end of the month. So she's going to be paid at the end of the month. She's just starting the role. So she's going to be spending transport to the place where she's going to every day, which is grossly about 700 naira going and coming. That's 1,400 naira. She's spending about 1,400 naira going and coming. Now, in such a situation, after spending 1,400 naira going and coming, she's now multiplying it by 5 days, which is 7,000 naira. That's one. After spending that money on transportation, she's also going to feed 7,000 naira. That's for a week. So for 4 weeks, that's about 28,000, because you are multiplying it by 4. 28,000 naira is what she's spending for transportation. Now, to feed for a month, She is going to spend about 40,000 naira. That is 68,000 naira. And how much are they negotiating with her? They are negotiating 70,000 naira. Imagine this situation. You are being paid 70,000 naira, but the money you are spending on expenses is 68,000 naira, excluding data, excluding so many other things, so many other responsibilities. In such a situation, should such a lady accept the job? No, because it's not favorable to her because the cost of living is high. The things she's going to spend is high. So many things are going to be involved. And I'm not just talking about this transportation. There are still a lot of commitment involved because she can be told, go visit this, go do that, go do this, go do that. And she's going far to do them. So in such a situation, she does not have to. You have to negotiate and let the person know that, yes, the transport I'm spending is much. This is not going to favor me. Yes, I have so much to offer to your organization, but you are not really responding the way I want it to be. So you let them know that it doesn't work out for you. And in such a situation, if you feel it doesn't work out for you, it's best you back out because you may be the one losing at the end of the day. You are investing so much money transporting yourself, doing all sorts of things, and at the end of the month, you don't even get any results. So it's good. One thing that someone always tells me: learn to say no when it's not for you. It's not for you. Learn to say no. Don't always say yes to everything. When you say yes to it, it could be that after you have gone through it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, then you now back out, and then you've already spent so much money on transportation and feeding for that job, and you don't get the salary. You don't get the salary actually. So you have to consider the way things are. Is it going to favor me? Is it going to invest? Is it going to build me? Is it going to build me, or is it going to break me? Is it going to inspire me to do more? Is there going to be a salary increment that will motivate me to do more, or is it going to be the same? Are there levels? Are there levels of increments? Possibly going from level one to level two, level three. Am I just staying in one level? Or is it a private establishment? Is it a private establishment that doesn't really care about you, they care only about themselves? Hmm. Think about it. Is the government establishment that actually is upgrading you to the next level? Think about it. So these are things you always have to consider before you accept something. Don't just accept something and feel, yes, I've arrived, I've won it, I've gotten it. No, I should consider, rethink, take my time to think about it. Like Aaron said, research, be sure if it's going to work for you. If it doesn't work for you, learn to say no, I can't do this, I'm not ready. I don't just want to accept something that will not work for me. No, I want to accept something that will build me to become the best person. So uh, yeah. Then another question. This question is very nice one. I value the question very well, which says, how can a person land a job after an interview? So how can a person land a job after an interview? And could you share some tips such a person can work on? Could you share some tips such a person can work on that can blow the manager's mind to employ him or her? Yes.
Right. So, right after the interview, the first thing that I would, in a day or two, I would send a thank you note and a follow up email to understand the status of the interview. This shows two things. One, that I'm eager to
Okay.
join the organization. Number two, it is to showcase that I'm positive that I would get an opportunity to work in this organization. Right. So, with these two things, you are setting a platform after the interview that you are following up to showcase your interest. At the same time, how eager are you in joining this particular organization? Once you join the organization, all right, you will have an orientation or an onboarding process for you to get into the job. And while you are in the onboarding or the orientation session, there are three things that I generally tell my uh, friends to do. Number one is to learn, unlearn, unlearn and relearn. So, whatever I have learned all these while, I will only keep it to myself, right? The next thing is unlearning. I would see a particular process happening in this organization a little different. I would not come to a conclusion that things are happening in an incorrect way. I would try to understand why is it happening in this way, but I have experienced it doing in a different way in my previous organization. That's unlearning, where you try to understand the different aspects here. And the third one is relearning. Once you arrive at the overall on the job training, or once you complete that, you get a clear understanding as to why it is happening differently, or why is it happening similar to how you have done it in your previous organization. So do not come to conclusions as soon as you see something happening differently. You have learned, so unlearn whatever you have learned and then relearn how this organization is doing certain activities. Number two, if there is anything that you have identified that is happening in an incorrect way, the first thing is go check with people to understand whether your thought process is correct. Once you get a confirmation, then escalate it to your manager or someone else, right? That's taking information from your colleague saying that, yes, your observation is right. This shouldn't be happening this way. Whereas it could, if it is happening in a different way or an alternate method, the result would be much better, right? And number three, make friends in your team, because someone with a friend in an organization, in a team, they tend to work better, their productivity is good, and at the same time they have someone to talk about their work, someone to talk about their personal things, and at the same time you have a person to take care of you on certain areas. All right, these three things would help you not just to get onto a job, but also to build your career in a much better and faster way.
Awesome. Awesome. Once more, thank you so much, M. Arun. I must say, it's not just all about the interview, it's not just all about the job, but it's also all about trying to build something that is sustainable, something that is very sustainable. And I must say, you all are doing a very great job at Ideasing Technologies, and keep up the great work and keep impacting people, keep building and creating great ideas at Ideasing Technologies. And I would still advise some persons or the persons watching today, you've not gotten a job does not mean it's the end of the world. It actually means that you still have a lot of opportunities that can be created by yourself. Your mind is like a muscle, and the more you exercise that muscle, it becomes toned and strong. Toned and strong by meaning that you have experienced a lot of things. And then when you take these things you've experienced to another place, that place begins to blossom and do very well. So we should also try to build ourselves, building ourselves, making ourselves visible online, like I said before. Show that you are really professional in what you are doing. Show them that you know what you are doing, that you are experienced. Show them that you are prudent. Build a system, create a system that can actually bring people together. Create a system that can actually bring people together and bring people thinking about what you are doing. You know, these are things that we should always work on. If you don't have a job, doesn't mean it's the end, but you can create something. You can still create something another. But don't forget, even while you have a job, you can still be applying for jobs. You can still be applying for jobs because maybe while you're applying, you get something. But if you say you want to relax in one, no, it doesn't work that way. You should be applying for jobs. Possibly you could get called anytime and you try it out and see the response as well too. Then your dressing matters a lot. Your dressing matters a lot. Taking good pictures in organizations, going for conferences, try to snap pictures. It helps as well too. Then try to network with people. Network with people. when you go for conferences, not just all about going for something. The person by your side, maybe the people around, you could connect with them, know their LinkedIn handle, get their phone number, and possibly the person may have an opportunity which he shares with you, and this helps you to become who you are, a different version of yourself. So you don't know where the opportunity is going to come from, but these opportunities comes from our daily activities, the people around us, how they see what you are doing and they can connect you. But when you are just thinking about the idea, just keep reasoning, keep reasoning, keep reasoning. You're not doing anything, you're not performing anything, then you're already losing out on great opportunities. So I would advise you bring yourself out from those shells, think creatively, and yes, try to get your CV. If you don't have a CV, try to get your CV, and you can get a personal CV. This personal M. Arun
Yeah.
for being with us.
It was an engaging program, Victor. Thank you very much for having me today. It's a pleasure to be part
Okay,
of the journey.
all right. Okay, so I want to sincerely appreciate you, M. Arun, for being in our program today. And I must say it was really interactive. It was worthwhile, and I do believe the audience learned a lot from today's program. I look forward to having more of this with you and also a lot of great persons at Ideasync Technologies. Let's see how together with this great movement we are building once more us in this program. So shout out
Thank
to
you.
Longting Enterprise, Ideasync, shout, shout persons who have supported us to ensure that our program is still in phase for, for being with us today in this program.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Victor. It's a pleasure to be part of your
Once more,
program.
thank you for being in this program.
Right.
Look forward to having a greater one come next week where we are going to be interacting on something very good, something worthwhile, something interactive, and something that can build you to become the best version of yourself. So I would love to, in one word, okay, in one sentence, or in 1 minute, I would love you to give the young persons watching an advice. If you have any advice for the young persons watching right now, Emma Room, could just give them an advice, then we'll wrap up. So,
Okay.
an advice.
So follow your gut. Your first instinct is always the right one. So when you have an instinct, go for it. Do not try to ask people or do not try to check whether your instincts are right or wrong. You get a good instinct, you should go for it.
Once more, thank you so much, Emma Room, and
Thank you. You have a good